Where were we? USA, how's it going? Can I call you USA? What's your preferred pronunciation there? Also, is my audio all right? I actually haven't streamed in a week or two. Probably all screwed up over here. Let's see, what the hell was I even doing? I know I have 2 bugs in the game. I'm sure I have more, but I have confirmed 2. One is it's possible to get your units in a weird state when you select a guy, move a guy, then click on a different guy. That gets all fucked up. And then there's some unwanted behavior when you blow up an enemy unit. I think for the turn afterwards, the camera is screwed up. Japanese weeaboo shit from a bygone era. Osagi. Okay. But you can say bunny. Okay. So I'll go with. Correct is Osagi. Osagi Hinore. Usagi Hinore or something. I don't know what that means. Is that Japanese for bunny somewhere? I was actually a Japanese major in college, believe it or not, but I was a shitty student and I forgot everything. I never learned everything and then I forgot what I did now. Yeah, I'll go with bunny if that's what you prefer. And Sailor Moon, I see. Understood. Understood. How goes the hacking? Because you're old, yeah, feel ya. Same. Do you want to see this game real quick? I'll show you what I'm up to here. I'm on this. Okay. I'm on a topic branch, but it doesn't matter. So this is the game I'm building right now. It's called Balance of Power. It's a turn-based tactical thing. Most just been doing actual work? Yeah, okay, fair enough. I quit my job a few weeks ago, so I haven't had to deal with actual work, which is pretty sweet. Do recommend. But yeah, this thing, armies and shit, yeah. It's a turn-based tactical game inspired like heavily by like Advance Wars, and I've also been playing an absolute fuck ton of Fire Emblem Three Houses, which is perhaps my single favorite game of all time. I've been completely blown away by that game. I have like 300 hours into it or something. But because this is pick-a-weight, and you're now familiar with the pick-a-weight constraints, I've made some changes on how these games typically work. So I booted into an arbitrary map. I mean, it's map 1, but everything visually is a placeholder. So here's what's cool about Balance of Power. It's a normal game like Advance Wars, a normal turn-based tactical game like Advance Wars, but there are a couple of twists. First twist is that each player can only move one unit at a time. So the only other turn-based tactical game I've ever seen like that is chess, right? And the decision behind that, or the rationale behind the design choice was, one, I think it will be significantly easier to write competent AI, especially in a pick-weighted environment, if the AI only has to think one move ahead, one unit, one move ahead, versus having to coordinate an entire army and coordinate against an entire army, right? That'd be much more computationally difficult to work out. So that's one weird thing about this game. The other weird thing about this game, keep it simple, exactly. That's exactly what I'm doing here. The other weird thing about this game, and really like the core mechanic of this game, is that, in most games, Advance Wars, etc., you have multiple types of units. You have multiple discrete units, and those discrete units, and you know what I mean by units, right? You'd have like your infantry guys, your mech guys, your airplanes, your boats, your tanks, whatever, right? But those discrete units are ultimately just kind of cute facades on top of a spreadsheet, right? Of, you know, attack strength and defense and movement range and whatever, right? It's all just a spreadsheet. What I am doing in this game... No capitalism in space, right. I remember that too, from Command & Conquer 3 or whatever. That was good shit. What I'm doing in this game is, instead of having discrete units, your tanks, your infantries, your whatever, I have more of a continuum of a single type of unit. And by what I mean by that is, in this game, you can spend a turn to move and attack in any order, or you can rebalance your unit's power. And that's what this menu is. So each unit by default has 10 power points that I can distribute among 3 systems, each of which contain 5 points, right? So you can see here, like, okay, we're gonna pull power from our attack strength, and we're gonna pump it into our movement, and you can see the grid, reflect those changes in real time, right? We're gonna pull out our movement, and we're gonna go like full turret mode. We're gonna be stationary, but we're gonna dump all of our energy into. Now I hear pick away all of a sudden. Weird. We're gonna dump all of our power into attack and our range. Now we're full turret mode, right? So this is the core conceit of the game: is that you can rebalance your unit power. So you don't have discrete units; you have a continuum of a single type of unit. Rochambeau, yeah, there's sort of an emergent rock paper scissors thing. I think that will emerge with these 3 stats. We'll see how it actually plays. That's my hope, is that it does that. The other neat thing about this system I have here is that there are no unit hit points, or rather, your hit points are the same as your power points. So here, let's cancel this. Okay, let's move over here and end our turn, and then he'll move. So when you go to attack an enemy, you don't just attack the enemy. You can choose the subsystem to attack. So let's say I want to attack this guy's attack, rename RNG to gun. That's actually not a bad idea. RNG means range, but actually I confused. Yeah, well, I mean, that's not a bad suggestion, though, because I had a friend come over earlier today and look at this, and he was like, what the hell is random number generator? I'm like, yeah, okay, it's like an overloaded term. Maybe a gun would be better, I don't know. But when you're attacking a unit, you don't just attack the unit, you target a subsystem. So I can blast this guy's attack power, his range, his movement, or whatever. So, like, let's hit his movement. Let's hit his range. Our attack power is 5. Let's shoot him in range, and what's going to happen is we blow out his range and our attack power wasn't 5. I don't know what it was. I had rebalanced the unit. I forget. What's the difference between attack and range? Attack is the strength of your weapon. It's the number of hit points that will be deducted from the target when you hit it, and range is how far you can shoot. That's the difference. But anyway, what I'm getting at with this, the subsystems thing, is that because you don't target units, you can target subsystems. You can do cool things like, like blast that guy's movement points, right? And then he's stationary until he rebalances his power, and then he can come pursue you again. And then similarly, as you take damage, you rename attack to power. That's not a bad suggestion. I need to think about all of that. That's probably the kind of stuff I'll refine in playtesting and see what does and does not confuse people. Yeah. But yeah, no, I appreciate the info, because this was confusing a friend I showed this to earlier. Yeah, right. No, fair enough. I appreciate the feedback for sure. But that's the core concept. And then, so as you take damage, you lose power, because your power is your health points, right? And when your power/health points go to 0, then you explode. So that's like the thing that makes this game hopefully unique, is that continuum of single unit power balancing mechanism thing. And then there's the stuff you'd expect to see in this kind of game, right? Like the different terrain has movement costs, movement costs, and defensive modifiers. So like obviously, like you're fastest traveling along the roads, and slowest traveling in trees and mountains. Likewise, you know, the kind of inversely, you're the most vulnerable when you're on the road, and the least vulnerable when you're in mountains and trees and that kind of thing. You can reshuffle, move, arrange into more health and shit. So you can't put it into more health because this is your health in totality. But yeah, you can pull it out of like range and put it into attack power, or pull it out of range and put it into movement, essentially. But yeah, your hit points are the sum of these three. Can I kill myself with... I just thought about this. Do I die if I do this? No. Okay. Okay, good. Good. I forgot how I programmed that. But yeah, that's the idea. So yeah, you have a power pool. That power pool is your health pool. And you can redistribute the power, but every time you take damage, you lose power, and when it goes to 0, then you explode. Hello, Blacksmith Meow. Good to see you. Good to see you. When are you streaming again? Now that did you ever get your white spacey kind of stuff squared away with the layout? But yeah, Bunny, that's what we got going on here. And then the other neat thing, in my opinion, about this is that this is surely the most over-engineered game in the history of Pick Away, I would have to imagine. And what I mean by that is I have a pretty elaborate build file, make file set up here that does a bunch of building in Docker. And the reason I'm using Docker is just because, like, the Lua toolchain, in my opinion, is kind of miserable to set up, and I didn't want to do it on bare metal. Go ahead, go ahead and write those down, just like in chat right now. I'll remember them, and you're also welcome just to DM me on Discord or whatever. That's like good enough notepad too. But yeah, the reason this build system is so elaborate here is here, let me show you this. Make link dev. I have 2 sets of assets that I'm building into the game, and this will make sense if you look at the Pick-O-8 file. Mary fixed it? Excellent. Thursday after 5. Excellent. Okay, I will be tuning in. Bunny, Blacksmith Meow is a blacksmith, and she's pretty cool. You should check her out if you're into the blacksmithing stuff, which why wouldn't you be? So in the Pick-O-8 file, what I'm doing here is I'm just including a bunch of other files, right? But there's some cleverness here. You know, people... thank you, Blacksmith. Yeah, it's coming along. There are still some real bugs, but... I mean, if I get lucky, I'll squish those tonight, and then it'll be, I guess, playable. It'll still be shitty, but it'll be playable. But yeah, the build thing I'm doing here... You know, if you look at where I'm including from this Inc. directory, right? But if you look at what the game actually is, if you look at the actual file system, Inc. is a symlink that points somewhere. And what I'm doing is I've written a make file that can repoint that symlink to either the source directory, which contains the code I am writing directly. Like, I don't know, here's my camera, right? Relatively nice looking, relatively legible code. So I can point that Inc. symlink at my source directory, or I can point it at a build directory, which contains minified code that looks like this, and is a totally illegible disaster, right? And the advantage of doing it this way is that we can shave a huge amount of bytes off of our source code. So like here's the info on the cartridge when I have the development assets linked. And you can see right now we couldn't build or ship this game already because, you know, we're already over the 15 kilobit size maximum, right? And, you know, the cars, I mean, we're going to bump into that shortly too, right? But when we run the minifier via make and stuff, and then make link release, you saw the minify. Yeah, okay, great. Yeah, so you know what I'm getting at. We point this at the minified assets, and now we've got, you know, tons of headroom, right? So yeah, this is a very elaborate build system for Pico 8, which typically doesn't have a build system at all. But this gives us the headroom we're going to need to allow us to hopefully do some really cool things with this game. I'm not committing to this yet because this is currently over my head, but what I want to know is if it's actually possible to train the AI up on a neural net. And like this, I've already written this game such that like the logic stuff can be cleanly separated from like the display stuff, the Pico 8 stuff. And I want to know if I can build outside of the Pico 8 environment this whole like neural net where the CPU would play itself a billion times or whatever, right? And then all we would do is we take that neural output, you know, that matrix of weights or whatever. Yeah, I want to make an evil AI, and I want to embed that in this game. And then, like, the reason this will be cute if I do it is the story, spoilers, is going to be about a, you know, a Skynet type situation of like a department, like a DARPA project with, you know, autonomous killer drones that have gone rogue or whatever. That's going to be the plot. I think it would just be kind of cute and interesting if the game about, you know, sentient AI going rogue and shit was actually built on a neural net. Plus, like, I would just straight up destroy imposter syndrome forever if I built a game with a fucking neural net AI in Pico 8. Like, instant hacker legend god. Mechanics of storytelling someone's been studying. Yeah, cute, right? Cute in a menacing kind of way, Blacksmith. Yeah. Yeah. I think it would be pretty cool. Plus, just from like a marketing perspective or whatever, I think that would be like a really interesting selling point. Like, by the way, there's a fucking neural net in Pico 8 here. Check this out. You know. Also, just from like a place of sheer laziness, it would be a more interesting problem, in my opinion, to write all that neural net kind of shit and just have the AI figure out how to play the game. That would be more interesting than actually writing the AI to do the battling, which in itself would be fun. That's actually what got me into this, but I think the neural net shit is easier. You know, if the neural net thing fails, and I do have to go the kind of traditional algorithmic way, I have an idea there too. You know, the naive approach to this would be like thousands and thousands of lines of if else, right? But that would be a total nightmare to write, and I would never get that correct. So I think plan B, if the neural net thing doesn't work, is to just express this problem as a bunch of linear algebra and then just solve the linear algebra in Pico 8. And I think that is doable. That'd be super cool. You don't understand it, but it sounds rad. Thank you. Yeah. You know, just like neural nets, machine learning in general, right, is you don't teach the program to solve the problem. You teach the program to learn to solve the problem. That's the fundamental distinction if you can make a single one. So that's what I would be trying to do. And again, I'm not saying definitively that I can do it. It's going to be rough for a number of reasons, but I don't think it is impossible. And it sure as hell would be interesting. So I'm going to give it a go before I give up on it. Lucky Link in that Code Bullet video. That was the one with the like playing the piano, the screen detection thing that was auto playing the piano. Is that the one you're talking about? That looked pretty cool. Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah. That looked pretty cool. But anyway, he's on other shit about learning neural stuff. Okay. Cool. Right now, like, I don't have much of a background in mathematics, unfortunately. So right now, I've been watching a lot of 3 Blue 1 Brown to try and kind of bolster my understanding of neural nets and linear algebra, because definitely watch his other videos. Okay, yeah, I probably will, because this is over my head for sure. But like you and I discussed in Discord, that's how you learn, right? You don't really need to go to school. You just gotta bang your head against the wall until the wall collapses. But, yeah. Yeah, exactly. But anyway, that is all interesting, and we're not going to do anything interesting tonight at all, not even a little bit interesting. Tonight we're going to squash some mundane bugs, so brace yourself for that, for an upcoming hour or so of boring, tedious bullshit, because that's where we are now, yeah. Hooray. Boring, tedious bullshit. Bunny, what kind of stuff are you working on now since you got your game up? Yeah, right. Yay, bullshit. What's your next game or your next project or whatever? Where are we? Select bug. I think this I think this should be fast to fix. First, I guess let's just reproduce the bug. So I'm on a select bug topic branch. Writing down ideas currently. Oh, by the way, if you have any general programming questions, not only feel free to ask, but oh God, please ask, because like again, for real, this is going to be some boring bullshit we're about to do. A shooter using stand in place thing you've learned. Yeah, I've never actually done anything with collision either. I have like a naive understanding of how that works, but that's it. When you say shooter, do you mean like a top-down, like 1942 style, Project Raiden type shooter, or do you mean like an FPS or something? Oh, I'm gonna shut off those. I'm just temporarily gonna switch a flag so we don't have to click through. I don't think I will click through these. Okay. You've got bullet aiming snaps to 3 places on the screen. Background scrolls. So like a side-scrolling shooter like UN Squadron? Okay, yeah, like a UN Squadron type thing, or like a R-type or a Gradius kind of deal. And then you're avoiding collision detection by knowing which of the 3 positions the bullet is in, and if the enemies are in one of those 3. Is that what you're doing? Just like, so you're not actually doing like collisions on pixels, but just which column things are in or whatever. Is that the idea? Or which row, I guess, things are in. Oh yeah, I was going to reproduce this bug. So I think what I've discovered is if we move a guy and then click on another guy, yeah, everything gets super fucked if we do this. More Contra or Metal Slug. Okay, right on. When I think shooter, I just think spaceship for some reason, but I get you. Tamagotchi-esque? Okay. Dog Pet Sim, yeah. Dog Pet Sim is a winning concept. +1 for that. I also think you could probably do like some cute pet stuff in Pico 8. There's some really cute ASCII art. Or not ASCII art, cute pixel art. And you would be uniquely qualified to do that kind of thing. Yeah, you should definitely wolf that game and get Peaches to play it. I'm confident he'd be up for a dog petting simulator. Very confident in that. So let's see. This might be easy to fix. This is unfortunate. This section of the code is like basically all dog shit. But because of what Pico 8 is, I can't do too much about it. Yeah, pet the dog is like definitely a cheap, dirty trick, but I mean, people are gonna enjoy it, so shame on them. And by them I mean me, because I would enjoy it too. Blacksmith me, I would also play it. No question about that. I don't know what kind of person wouldn't like a dog petting sim. So, okay. How do you know where the bug is? I have a hunch, but I don't know shit about shit. I have a hunch, and I have a hunch because I wrote all this code, right? And I know how it sort of works, approximately works. Are you looking at the code for movement? So let me mark this. So there are a number of context-sensitive actions that can be taken at any moment, given the state of, you know, the game and the units and et cetera, et cetera. And this is like a big block of logic that dictates when all that stuff can happen, right? And what I know is, what I've determined is that it's possible to open the balance menu when it shouldn't be possible. And, you know, okay, so here's the logic pertaining to the balance menu. And I think what's happening is right here. I think this should be, if not... It's here, I think. If not unit acted, and... Was it active? If the unit has not acted, but is active, and unit.acted. Let's see if that fixes this. So we click a guy, we move a guy, we click on another guy, and that didn't fix the problem. What is unit? Yeah, by all means, please post a link. Let me know if a bot kills it or something, but I don't think so. So unit is the unit at the current cursor position. So if there is a unit, and the unit is a friend, and a unit is selected, if the unit has not acted, and unit dot... Oh, god damn it. Active. See, this is... Lua is fine, but I really would so much rather work with a language with a compiler. Like, oh my god. We're gonna logo for your games. Nice. So you plan on, like, cranking out a couple of games? Just, like, going, like, full into Pick a 8 for a while? Move... Click, now nothing happens. That might be it. I mean, we know we fixed that much of it. The only question is there more? So I move. Playing pretend dev, me too, me too. And we can do it together. That seems to work. That behavior there isn't even something I thought about, but I like it actually. That you can select a guy. What I had intended there, you see how the guy moved backwards? What I intended was you click a guy, and then like in Fire Emblem, if you don't like the move, you can take it back. But I just realized the way it's written, you can actually move a guy, unselect him, go do stuff, come back, then unmove him, which is fine because until you've fired or ended a turn, you haven't changed the state of the board globally. You've only changed your one unit, so that's fine. So I actually think that one-liner that fixed this. I think. Let's rebuild our assets and stuff. Final Fantasy Tactics, yeah. Final Fantasy Tactics was a superb game. I loved that game. This won't have that level of nuance because again, pick 08, right? But it will hopefully have some. The dick hat died a lot, yeah. I got 2,000 dick energy or something. See if you can beat that, Blacksmith. With the act move and takes you backsies. Yeah, it's for me the inspiration for that was Fire Emblem, but yeah, you're right. It wasn't FF Tactics. Also, I think likewise in Tactics, you could back out until you attacked someone, and then you couldn't rewind your activity anymore. Here's something else I plainly stole from Fire Emblem, and I want to refine this a little bit. But in Fire Emblem, you can click on enemies and see their threat radius, and that's what this is. So if I'm moving, I know I can walk right up to that pink stuff. And I'm safe. So here, right, I can tell I'm threatened, but I can move... oops. I can move here, and I'm safe until he moves again. So, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff I'm stealing from Fire Emblem, because, again, that was probably my single favorite game of all time. But let's see. What did we change? The state thing I don't actually want. Make sure I didn't break this somehow. Good. Oh, back to this being the most over-engineered game in history, Pick 08. I haven't done a ton of this yet, but I actually have the harness in place for writing unit tests for stuff. So there's some test coverage on the unit table, which is pretty cool. I'm not going to bother writing unit tests until the game is somewhat mature, because where I'm figuring this out as I go and changing things while I work, I don't want to write a bunch of test code that I'm going to throw away. Blacksmith, if you're interested, when I say unit tests, what I mean is, in well-engineered software, what people will do is they'll write their program, right? They'll write code, and then they'll write more code that just tests the other code that they've written in an automated kind of way. So, again, I don't have a ton of that written here, but I can run make tests, and that runs a battery of 11 tests so far. That number needs to be in the hundreds. But right now it runs 11 tests to see 10 pulls before flaps. Yeah, that's exactly it. But now I have some assurances that, that the code that I worked before still does work. So that's a nice kind of safety net when you get it in place. So that's not there yet, but the scaffolding is there. Likewise, this is so crazy engineered for Pick 08. Where the hell is that open? I actually wrote autodoc generation for this, and again, I'm phasing this in, right? But you can see here, all I've done is I've written autodocs for my animation table here, and here's the auto docks for that. The nice thing again about having that minifier in place and stuff is I don't have to worry about like weighing comments against my character constraints or anything anymore, because the minifier is going to rip all that crap out, right? So it's kind of a best of all worlds situation here, where I can write, you know, very tidy and correct, well tested, well commented code. But for the sake of pick away, when it's time to build a release, all that shit gets stripped out, and you get a nice, lean and mean couple of files to build against. So it took some hacking, and it's weird. In just culturally, it's weird in the pick away community, but it's pretty nice, and I'm happy I did it. Okay, so that was a one-liner fix. So let's commit this. Add player, fix player, fix balance bug. We fixed an issue whereby it was possible to open the balance menu. Fixed an issue whereby it was possible to move one unit and then open the balance menu by selecting another unit. And we're working on a topic branch. Yeah, comments do take up space, and a lot of people have complained about that on the BBS, and I can kind of see both sides of the argument. But for me, I wasn't willing to write bad code, you know, uncommented code. So I was just like, okay, well, whatever. I'll take a day or two or three or whatever it was to figure out how to set up this build infrastructure. And now I'm like totally good to go. I think that's a little bit unique what I did. So when I have the time and when I'm comfortable with these patterns I've kind of landed on, I'm going to write some blog posts about this, because I think I've done some neat things here. Yeah, I think so. I think so. What did I do? I committed that. Check out master git rebase select bug. Push. What even is stages? Well, no. Let's check out SFX, git rebase master, git push force. Oh, I know what stages is. Check out stages, git rebase master, git push force. I have a couple topic branches going here because, like the sound effects, I want to be able to work on, and the stages I want to be able to work on, but I want to work on these like in their own histories. When I merge these into the master branch here, I want these to come as one nice clean commit, and not, you know, dozens of meaningless commits as I adjust pixels or whatever. I don't want that. The commit history to this project is relatively nice, and I like to keep it that way. Check out killbug, rebase master, and good. So now the other bug that I think I have, I think in one player mode, and I think in one player mode only, the camera gets fucked up when you blow up an enemy unit, and then the enemy takes its next turn. I think that happens off screen, and I'm not sure why that happens, but I have some intuition about it, maybe. And let me think about this. For convenience, let's actually just drop in another enemy, like right here. Let's put a bad guy at, what? 3, 4? No, 4, 4, 3. I don't know, whatever. Let's see where that guy goes. I can't do that in my head. Oh, again, back to most elaborate build system in the Pick-A-Wait universe. What I have going on here is I have defined all of my stages in YAML files, and the make file, when I run make, runs this script, which I've also written in Lua, which parses the YAML, builds this all up into an object in memory, and then just using this trivial serializer thing I've written, serializes all of that into one big string, and then spits that out. Here. So this one big ass string contains all of the stage data for the entire game. And that probably seems weird, and that is in fact very weird. But that's a kind of a hack I have to work around Pick-A-Wait limitations. Because again, we have these limitations we have to keep in mind, whereby the token limit is the most oppressive and concerning constraint. And before, when I defined stages as the kind of naive, obvious way of just a bunch of literal objects, you know, a toy stage like we're looking at in level 1 here with 8 units or something would consume like 300 tokens, right? And one of my goals for this game is to have, you know, maybe up to 20 maps. I have to see what I can fit, but I want a lot of maps. I want this to be a long game. But I would hit this token limit, you know, immediately with that approach, right? So what I did was I moved a bunch of that computation outside of the Pick-A-Wait, and I wrote all that serializer shit, because now I pay a fixed cost of however many tokens this deserializer is. It's not even its own function. So there's a fixed cost of like 100 tokens to deserialize the string I put together. Because the serialized code, the YAML, the script, none of this is in Pick-A-Wait, right? This is all build tooling outside of the environment. So I pay at a fixed cost once to deserialize the string, but now this string, you know, I can add as many stages as I want, but I'm still only going to consume like 3 tokens or whatever, right? So I will of course have to pay like the tokens or the character cost for this data, but that's not an important limitation as best I can tell at this point, so totally fine. What the hell was I doing before I started yapping? Alright, yeah, yeah. Where did I put this guy? Okay, so here's this guy, let's blow him up. Testing kill bug, yeah, thank you. That's right. Oh, and I also need to apply that. It's dash apply. Yes, the stage I just changed. And actually that guy, let's put this guy at -1, -2. Let's put this guy at x2, y4. Otherwise, he'll be in cover and will take less damage. I just want him to blow up. Okay. So what I think we're gonna see is I blow up this guy, and then we're not gonna see the camera move. We're not gonna see Red's next move. I think that's what's going to happen. So we shoot, he explodes. And see, that was the problem. You see how this red appeared from off screen? the camera is supposed to pan to him. So like if I move normally, the camera pans and he moves and the camera pans. So there's a problem there. It could be here. It could be here. The camera instruction was definitely skipped, and I don't know why. Could be here, could be in menu target. A lot of this code is kind of trash too. You know, I'm gonna write everything. I'm gonna get the game playable, and then I'm gonna refactor. Here, I can tell you the architecture isn't quite what I would want. Again, given the constraints of pick a weight. Yeah, all code is kind of trash to a degree. I've written some code I'm genuinely proud of, but if I could get something good enough to work, that's fine. Let's also see what's happening here. Could be here. Could be here. Yeah, especially the government work. You really don't have to try hard at all for the government work. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm trying to remind myself how this battle loop works. So this is like the main battle loop. The way this whole thing is architected is that there are a handful of screens, each of which has their own update method and stuff. Here, like you can see. Here's the main file. Actually, you can't see here. Take my word for it. There are screens and there are stages. And each screen and stage has its own update loop, effectively, or update methods, right? You would write something on screen. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. First, I even need to think of like where that statement would go. Because I don't remember. I wrote this a while ago now. But now I'm just trying to remember how this all even fits together. This project is not huge, but it's not trivial. So we have, yeah, you know, 2,600, 2,700 lines of Lua. I think this is where it starts to go wrong. Because state.player.cursor is going to be right. It could go wrong here. When the turn ends, state.player will be player 1 or player 2. Cursor is what? I think that's just the... Yeah, that's the state of the cursor. That doesn't care about the unit. Yeah, I just kind of got to think through this, because there are, like, a few moving parts here. And again, the architecture isn't terrible, but it's not... It's not what it would be if I weren't in Pick 08. Not that that's a complaint. I love Pick 08. Yeah, okay. So there's a unit. What is this thing doing? Okay. I'm going to call animate translate on the camera object. And I'm going to pass an XY value, and at some point that XY value is going to be null or something. That's the hypothesis. So let's test that much. Anim trans. Let's hack this real quick. Let's add a fourth param to anim trans. Call it message. And print h. Or what? I had something. Debug.log message xy is some crap I wrote. 1914, very nice. Very, very impressive length. Okay. And I guess I want to see where this is being called on camera. Player turn end. Don't care. Don't care. Don't care. Unit repair. No, units repair. Is that right? Player turn end. Don't care. Don't care. Don't care. Definition. Do care and logged. Okay, let's see what that tells us. What I think we're going to see is it's going to print out player turn end, and then somehow we're going to get an XY or something. So let's see here. So Bunny, I don't know if you've seen print H yet, but print H is great. It's a debugging function that writes to standard out in the shell that you use to invoke Pico 8. We can shoot this guy. Okay, it's gonna blow up. What the hell's the problem with this? Kind of a shit stack trace we have going on there. Debug.lua line 35. Oh, I just did this the wrong way, I think. Is it? It's supposed to be in a table. Another reason why, God, please just let me work in a compiled language, you know? Player turn in 0, 0, that's the camera, that's correct. So this guy should blow up, and then we would expect to find a number that's not 0, 0. And we saw 0, 0. So, okay. So we know, because see, that should have been like, I don't know, 2, 0, something like that. So, okay. So this is... when a unit is destroyed, the value for cam.cell.x and y is incorrect. This is assigned. Yeah, okay, fine. Here's the problem. So it's not that it's passing through, it's that I'm just not, my logic is, it doesn't account for the something exploded contingency, right? What has happened here is that our cursor position is saved as the state where the unit was previously. However, if that unit explodes during the opponent player's turn, the camera is still going to go to where that unit was, right? So it's not that that value is, it's not like there's a bug here. It's that I didn't account for the fact that where the cursor is may not be where we want to go anymore. Need to update the camera cursor. That's correct. Now the question is how to do that, and this is slightly difficult. This is difficult because there's an event here that happens when a turn is ended, but there's not an event that happens when a turn is begun. And we almost want to split that up. Because after the opponent turn has begun, that's when we need to check to see if there's still a unit beneath the cursor. One like gross hack, right, would be not to care about the cursor and just to go where the first unit is, but that would just kind of suck. Yeah, you're getting it. Next available unit or next unit that moves. But see, that would kind of just suck, right? Because let's say I'm moving around one unit. But then, like, the game wants to keep resetting to some different one. All right, thanks for stopping in, Blacksmith. Good seeing you. I'll see you Thursday night if the weather cooperates with you. You need the camera to show what the AI is doing. Correct. Like I guess I don't strictly need that to happen, but I think we certainly want that to happen. So I think this is worth fixing. Hang on, this has to be doable. I'm being an idiot. This has to be doable. So okay, no, I'm lying. So this is where, like, effectively one turn ends and another begins. Is this line? This is where we swap the current player. Then we repair all of the units if there are repairs to be done. So the turn starts, do bunch of repairs, moves around. Then the cursor, so it's right here. We can do this. Units at, I think. Yeah, we can do this. If not units at, then get a unit, right? Let's try it. I have a units at. So, and what's that return? Returns a unit and an ID. So let's say, yeah, let's do this. Do I have a unit? Yeah, right here's where we're going. Do I have a unit somewhere? I do not. Good, okay. So we can do local unit, don't care, is units.at, state.player.cursor.cell.x, and y, and state.units. Determine if a unit is still beneath the cursor, i.e. assert that the unit has not been destroyed. And what? If not unit, then if the unit has been destroyed, choose the first available unit. So then unit equals what? Units.first? Yeah. Units.first. Oh, I'm out of music. Make sure the unit is not exploded. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I can't think without some chiptunes going on here. Give me 1 second. There we go. Can you hear the chiptunes all right? I went through my whole stream last stream and I didn't realize I fucking muted them by accident. Hope I didn't do that again. Units first. All good? Excellent, thank you. Player, what is player? It's unit.play. I think that's an integer. See, God, please God, just give me a compiler. That's all I want. I think I remember that being an integer. State.player.num, was it? Player.num, that seems correct. State.player.num and what? Units? State.units? State.stage.units? Actually, wait, I can do stage.units. Right. And then this isn't this is now unit cell X, unit cell Y, state. Does that seem correct? Does that not work anymore? Okay. Let's see if that did it. So hopefully what we're gonna see now is we blow up this guy, and then the camera should go to the other red guy, and then we'll see red move. That's what we want. Explosion, end turn, goes, moves, back. Perfect. Okay, great. That got her. Now let's back out all that debugging crap I put in. I didn't bother you. Yeah, hooray. That actually wasn't all that terrible. I kind of expected worse. Don't care about that. Do care about that. Don't care about that. Don't care. Don't care. I guess I closed it. Where's... Back out of that. Oh, I did care about that other stuff too. Units repair. I wrote some debugging shit. What was the other thing I did? I don't remember. Player turn end, right, obviously. Run make, see what this looks like. So that's the diff. We determine... Let's see, and let's see. I want the turn to start, then I want repairs to run. Then I want the camera to move. So that's the correct sequence. I didn't demonstrate this, but you can also repair in cities, whereby cities are currently represented as this gray square. I don't know. I'm gonna go through those like pixel art tutorials that you recommended, because I would like to think I can do better than gray square. I don't know. So we get a unit, and if there's not a unit, we get the unit at cursor, cell X and Y, and if there's not a unit, then the unit is the first available unit belonging to the player on the stage. And then we focus on the XY coordinates of that unit. I think that looks correct. I'm gonna back out that stage change in 1 minute. But okay, let's run this, make sure we're good. Blast them. Blast them, explode. Camera, move, camera. Great. Let's commit that. And here, hit checkout, stage 1.yaml. That's our diff. Okay. Fix player. Camera movement failure after explosion. Fix a bug whereby the enemy... Actually, that would have affected two-player games too. Fix a bug whereby the camera would fail to focus on the next available unit should the previous unit been destroyed on the prior turn. I just want to make sure all these branches stay properly rebased. double check, make sure I did in fact run make. There was no diff, no test. Good tests. Let's run that one more time, and here, let's link in our release assets just for the hell of it. Oh, this isn't even going to be visible, probably. But let's see what this does. Here, let's let him come to us a little bit. So now we blast them. Blast them. And it did not work. That's annoying. I bet you I know why, though. I bet you that was this other camera focus bug. I'm trying to do this clever thing, and I think I fucked it up. Let's confirm that hypothesis real quick. This is like totally unrelated to what we actually fixed tonight. I think. That's what I'm confirming. No, that just doesn't work. Okay. That's annoying. I mean, the diff is in there, the patch is in there. I have to shoot him 3 times now because he's getting a defense modifier from the trees. Okay, I think I'm still right. Would the AI choose another unit if it went off screen? The AI shouldn't go off screen. What I will say is the CPU logic currently is just go left until you can't and then go right, but also there's a bug because it can cross the water and it shouldn't be able to do that. The AI logic is like extremely stubbed out and stupid because I don't really care about it right yet. So I'm mostly ignoring how lame that is for the time being because that's like the last like major development effort is to fix that. But okay, so what I have determined is that the fix we made is in. Here's the problem. I'm focusing the camera with this method called camera focus. And camera focus does this thing here where it checks to see if it checks to determine how far the position that you're telling the camera to move to is from where it is now, and if the adjustment to be made is small, it doesn't even do it. And the rationale behind that decision is sound. The rationale is that this game is a little bit unique in that units, you only move one unit at a time rather than moving like a whole army at once. So if I don't do something like this, the camera can get just kind of nauseating or at a minimum annoying because it's bouncing around all the time, right? So the intention behind this decision is prevent the camera from bouncing around, and if you're only trying to focus the camera a short distance from where it's focused now, just don't even bother moving it. What I failed to account for, and this is probably the bug I'll fix tomorrow or next time or whatever, is that I'm not checking to ensure at least that the cell that you're trying to focus to is at least visible on the screen. I'm pretty sure that's what the problem is. So like now it's like, oh, well, we'll need to bump over one square, so fuck it, we're not going to move. However, that one square is the difference between being on screen and off screen. So, I consider the bug that we fixed tonight to be fixed. This is just an unrelated bug that, under some circumstances, can manifest in the same way, visually, but it is a different problem. Beyond this camera bug, too, I'm just still not thrilled with how I have actually written this camera logic. I am confident that I'm making the right decision with regarding to trying to want to minimize the amount of like camera wobble and shit, because that would be really annoying. And when I say would be annoying, I didn't do this initially, and it was annoying. Confirmed annoying. But I need to think a little bit more about what I actually even want to do there, algorithm-wise. I don't know yet. So I think that's probably a good place to wrap it up for tonight. We did fix 2 bugs, and we know the next thing we need to address is that camera off-screen focus bug. And let's put that highest priority, because this is now, to my knowledge, the last game-breaking bug. I'll also say too, like, let's say in the battle loop, the you might have seen me stumbling over the menus. That's because the controls are kind of stupid. I want to streamline the controls a bit. Unit distance from viewable area. Unit distance from viewable area. Yeah, maybe that's sensible, because right now I'm doing like... Right now what I'm doing is I have like the screen, right? And then I'm like creating like an invisible box, like 4 cells from each edge or something, and I'm doing something like, if the focus area is within this box, don't move, otherwise do. See, something's not right with that though, because that should still be, that shouldn't allow things to work off camera. Yeah, I don't know. Something is fucked up, and I need to stare at that and think about that more. But yeah, I need to fix one bug, and I need to optimize the way that works. And you're right, maybe... I don't know if it's a unit distance, though, because I think it's like arbitrary cell distance, but I don't know. I need to think about that. But yeah, it's going to be something like that. Distance of something to something. And if that distance is small, don't bother. If and only if the destination is on screen. It's going to be something like that, but I'll do that another night, I suppose. Whatever point, you need to stick the thing to the thing. Yeah. Gotta figure out that thing-to-thing sticker algorithm. Once we get that, though, then we're gold. And like, this is now the last bug I'm aware of. I'm not saying it's the last bug that exists, but it's the last bug that I'm aware of. And then there's some shitty controls to fix. But after that, I mean, like, it's playable. and should be in an okay spot. So then it's going to be about like refining the controls, refining the art, building the actual maps, because the maps I have are like total placeholders. Like here, I've only shown you this, but I like have 3 maps kind of. Here's a map, but it's like garbage, right? This is boring. Here's a map. This isn't even playable, and it's super garbage. I didn't even use my new tiles in this, but like the maps can be of an arbitrary size. I mean, within the constraints of Pico 8, right? So there's going to be multiple maps, and I've optimized this cartridge around making as many maps as possible. Because, like, I don't know if you read this far in the Pico 8 manual yet, but, like, sprite memory and tile memory compete for space. So, like, these first 2 tabs always go to sprites, but then sprites and map memory share tab 3 and then, or tab 2, and then tab 3 is map data. Or yeah, that's what it is. So I've given tabs 2 and 3 to the map, and I have this much space to work with. I have all of this, and what you've seen is map 1 here. So I have all of this to work with. So I mean, I could get, you know, 12 to 20 like actually good big levels in here, I think. And this stuff should be actually pretty fun to stream. This is where I'd actually really like player input. Nice. Okay, yeah, I appreciate it. I'm really looking forward to map design stuff, because like playing Fire Emblem and appreciating Fire Emblem and Advance Wars 2, I've realized, or I've come to believe anyway, that like the secret to making interesting maps is to like pose each map as a puzzle, right? There's like some unique thing about the map that you have to think through, think about, adapt to. You know, what I have here is just like generic different shapes, because I wanted to make sure my camera boundaries worked in multiple dimensions, and I wanted to develop a tile set, but none of these maps are like real, you know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to like creating some like actual maps. Oh, by the way, this is neat. If you zoom in on this, you see how this is like all green and shit? But when you actually run the game, it's a desert. The secret map dick. Yeah, you can peer pressure me into that. The what's happening there is in the stage load mechanism, I've built in a mechanism for palette swapping. So it's kind of cool, like if we want, and I did that to save like sprite space, but the other neat thing is like if we want just story wise, yeah, to return to a map we'd done previously, but it was like, you know, summer the first time, but now it's the winter or something, right? We just swap out the colors and it's a new map, you know, or maybe we, like the first time we show a map, you know, it's like a one screen map and you're the bottom quadrant of it, but the second time you're there, it's like the same map but bigger, right? Like all 4 quadrants, and also it's winter or something. So like, just as like a storytelling device, this gives us the opportunity to like revisit old places but put new twists on them and stuff. Because, you know, in Pico 8 there's the concept of a map built into the system, and you're familiar with that, but in my game there's the concept of a stage, whereby the stage is like, you know, a map plus enemies plus dialogue plus whatever. So there's not a one-to-one relationship there, and that opens up some storytelling opportunities that I think will be cool, and I plan to use that at least once. It's the kind of thing you don't want to overdo, of course, because it would be tedious to like replay the same thing again and again, palette swapped. But if you do it once or twice effectively, I think it could be cool. Anyway, I just noticed Peaches is streaming. Let's go watch the objectively better streamer with the cute dog. So I won't even like raid. I don't know if there's anyone here but you. Reuse of assets and excellence. Thank you. I think that will be a good thing. But anyway, yeah, Bunny, thanks for hanging out. And everyone else is there. Thanks for hanging out. And let's, I might try to do this again tomorrow night or something. Yeah, that's exactly it. Story-wise, I think that would be pretty slick. Like, maybe like one of the earlier maps, the story kicks off, you play the whole game, and then last mission, you come back to that map, but it's opened up or something. I think that could be pretty sweet. But yeah, I'm gonna sign off. Thanks for hanging out. It was a good stream. We fixed some shit, and we found some other broken shit. We'll fix that shit next time. Yeah. See y'all next time. Have a good night.